Who's the toughest dude you had to guard in the league?
KD, man. People don't know how much this man is a student of the game.
Like, I remember when he was in OKC.
You always calling for a ball screen and all that.
Tried to throw that out there. All right, you don't want that? You want it? All right, come get it.
To me, he's so disrespectful with his game because he's 7 feet and he can like shoot over anybody.
I'm telling my teammates he's gonna score 50. He's killing me. Like he's got 50.
Like, what can you do? He's shooting fadeaways off one leg.
I'm telling you, you have to trick yourself.
Like, all you can do is look over at the bench and be like,
y'all guard y'all man. He's gonna score.
That was the one that I retired without being able to figure out, how I can stop him.
What more could you have done to slow Kevin down?
What you think? You played basketball before? I mean, he's Kevin Durant.
I promise we tried.
The Golden State Warriors are making a desperate call bringing Kevin Durant back to the Bay. With Steph Curry sidelined by knee issues and the team spiraling to a 1-2-7 record, the Warriors are grasping for a lifeline. Is Durant the savior they need, or is this a reckless move that exposes deeper cracks in their dynasty? Kevin Durant, the name alone, sends shockwaves across the NBA. His potential return to Golden State is a tantalizing yet polarizing prospect. On one hand, Durant was the engine behind 2 championships and an unstoppable offensive juggernaut. On the other, bringing him back comes at a cost the Warriors can't ignore. Let's talk specifics. For this trade to happen, Golden State would likely need to part ways with Jonathan Kuminga or Moses Moody, the last remnants of their so-called 2-timeline strategy. This approach was supposed to secure their future while keeping their championship core intact. Instead, it's faltering, and if they go all in on Durant, they risk throwing away the little long-term stability they have left. But let's not ignore the bigger picture. Durant is 35 years old. Sure, he's still putting up 25 points per game with elite efficiency, but injuries have plagued his recent seasons. Are the Warriors really willing to mortgage their future for a player who might not be available when they need him most? The debate rages on, is this a bold move to chase one last championship, or is it a desperate act by a team that knows its dynasty is crumbling? With a 1-2-7 record and no signs of stability, the Warriors might be running out of options. And that brings us to the heart of the matter. Why is a team with this much talent spiraling out of control? The numbers don't lie. 12 wins, 7 losses. A team that once seemed destined for another championship now looks lost in the chaos of an increasingly competitive Western Conference. Their 3-game losing streak isn't just a bad stretch, it's a symptom of deeper issues. Against teams like the Thunder, Clippers, and even lesser opponents, the Warriors have looked lethargic and uncoordinated. They're surrendering leads they would have never lost in their prime. Their transition defense? Non-existent. Their offense? Overly reliant on Steph Curry, with minimal support from an inconsistent bench. And let's not even talk about injuries. DeAnthony Melton, their key off-season acquisition, is out for the season with an ACL tear. Klay Thompson is gone, and while Buddy Hield has stepped up, it's clear this roster wasn't built to withstand these losses. Without a reliable supporting cast, Steph Curry's brilliance isn't enough to carry them past mediocrity. The Warriors are stuck in limbo, too good to tank, but not good enough to contend. And this brings us to a larger question: is Steph Curry truly the generational talent people claim he is? Or has he been propped up by a system that's now failing him? Let's unpack that, starting with the controversy surrounding Steph Curry's legacy. Steph Curry, a generational talent? Gilbert Arenas doesn't think so. His recent claim that Steph Curry isn't on the same level as players like Magic Johnson or LeBron James has reignited an old debate. Arenas argues that true generational players are unmimicable, defined by physical dominance or skills no one else can replicate. Let's break this down. Yes, Steph Curry's three-point shooting is unparalleled. His ability to score off the dribble from 30 feet and under immense pressure has redefined modern basketball. But Arenas' point isn't entirely baseless. Unlike Magic or LeBron, Steph Curry's game depends heavily on his system. Without Klay Thompson spacing the floor or Draymond Green orchestrating the offense, Steph Curry's effectiveness diminishes. And here's the hard truth: when his teammates are injured, Steph Curry's teams often miss the playoffs entirely. Compare that to LeBron, who's carried subpar rosters to the finals. Does this mean Steph Curry isn't great? Of course not. But it does challenge the narrative that he's on the same level as basketball's immortals. Now, let's shift gears and examine another critical factor: the Warriors' once legendary defense. Golden State's defense was their secret weapon during their championship years. They could lock down the best defenses, switch seamlessly, and create turnovers that fueled their transition game. But those days feel like a distant memory. This season, they're allowing 103 points per 100 possessions, a respectable stat on paper, but a far cry from their dominant years. Against top-tier competition like the Thunder, their defense has been exposed. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander carved them up for 35 points, while Luka Doncic made their rotations look amateurish. Why? The absence of DeAnthony Melton is a huge factor. His ability to guard multiple positions was invaluable, and without him, the perimeter defense is a revolving door. Jonathan Kuminga, touted as their defensive future, has been inconsistent at best. And let's not even talk about the rim protection, it's virtually non-existent. If the Warriors want to fix this, they need more than just effort, they need new personnel. And that brings us to their potential trade targets. Could Brandon Ingram or Pat Connaughton be the answer? Let's find out. The trade rumors are flying fast and furious. Brandon Ingram, Pat Connaughton, these are the names being floated as potential game changers for Golden State. But let's be real, landing a player of Ingram's caliber won't be easy or cheap. Ingram is averaging 24 points and 6 rebounds this season. His ability to create his own shot and defend multiple positions makes him a perfect fit for the Warriors. But the Pelicans won't let him go without a fight. Golden State would likely have to offer Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody and draft picks a steep price for a team already thin on assets. Pat Connaughton, on the other hand, is a more realistic target. A solid 3-and-D player, Connaughton could fill the void left by Melton. His $9.4 million contract is manageable, and the Bucks might be willing to part ways if it helps them address their own roster issues. But is Connaughton enough to push the Warriors back into contention? Probably not. And that's where we circle back to Steph Curry. Even with new additions, the Warriors will only go as far as their leader can take them. So what's holding him back? Let's address the elephant in the room. Steph Curry is one of the greatest players of all time, but he's not without flaws. At 6'2", his size limits him defensively. He's not the guy you want guarding a Luka Doncic or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in crunch time. Then there's his reliance on off-ball movement. Steph Curry is most effective when the system around him is functioning perfectly: screens, cuts, and ball movement, all working in harmony. But when those elements break down, so does Steph Curry's impact. This was painfully evident during their recent losses, where Steph Curry's brilliance couldn't compensate for the team's shortcomings. And at 36, age is becoming a factor. Steph Curry's knee issues have already sidelined him this season, and while his shooting touch remains lethal, the question of durability looms large. Can the Warriors really count on him to carry this team for another 82-game grind? Steve Kerr thinks they can. Let's hear what the coach has to say about the road ahead. Steve Kerr recently shared his thoughts on the team's future, and his optimism is cautiously convincing. Kerr believes that once Steph Curry returns, the team's small ball lineup featuring Draymond at center and Buddy Hield as a primary shooter will regain its rhythm. But here's the catch: gut feelings don't win championships. Kerr is betting on a formula that worked 3 years ago, but might be outdated in today's NBA. The Western Conference is deeper than ever, and the Warriors can't afford to rely solely on hope and nostalgia. If Steph Curry can stay healthy, if the defense improves, if the trade rumors materialize, there are too many ifs for comfort. But for now, Kerr is sticking to his plan, and fans will have to wait and see if his instincts are enough to turn the season around. So where does that leave us? Are the Warriors still contenders, or are they a dynasty in decline? Let's wrap this up. The Golden State Warriors are at a crossroads. Kevin Durant's potential return, Steph Curry's enduring brilliance, and the team's mounting flaws all paint a complicated picture. Are we witnessing the end of an era, or can the Warriors defy the odds one more time? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates. This is Gold Blooded News, signing off.